you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Schoolin the SiSTEM. Today I have an amazing and really cool guest, O'Neil Mbakwe, but also known as Genesis Gray. I'm going to call you Genesis Gray for the entire show, just to let you know, okay?
That's okay. That's cool with me.
Where did you even get that name, Genesis Gray?
So, where did Genesis Gray come from? It basically rooted from my upbringing. Um, Genesis usually means origin,
Mm.
and gray is a color between black and white. So, growing up, I grew up in the suburbs, and I was around predominantly, white people.
Yeah.
But I would always be true to my roots in terms of my culture, who would I'd hang out with, and at times I'd always be seen as what is it, too white to be black,
Mm.
and then with my white friends or in my white community, it would be too black to be white. So instead of trying to be black or white, I just embraced who I was, which was in the middle, and that's where Genesis Gray came from.
When I tell you that I can relate on more than one level with that, like honestly, I was always called like an Oreo or
Yeah,
you're the whitest black girl or you're not even really black. I even got it got to the point where it was like you're not even African. I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? Like how does an
right.
African act or how I just never understood that. So I can definitely relate. I can definitely relate. So Genesis Gray is also your artist name. So you're into music. When did you discover your passion for music?
I've always had a passion for music. I think it first started when I was 12,
Mm.
and I got it from my older brother because whenever he would hear like instrumentals, he would try to make a little song over it, or he would hear like these jingles from commercials and he would make a song over it. And me being competitive, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that better. But in turn, from the competition, it turned into a passion, and it's been something that I've been sticking with to this day. Yeah.
So what kind of genre of music would you listen to growing up?
Everything, bro. Everything. I would listen to rap. I listen to R&B. I listen to Radio Disney. I remember that'd be that'd be the normal radio station on the way to church with my family. So I got a taste of everything, really.
Yeah, it seems like you have a variety of different different music. Radio Disney.
Radio Disney.
But when you're not making music, what are you doing?
So full time, I work as an engineer at
Okay.
Samsung. So I work there full time, and when I'm not doing music, I either am at work, I like to read, or just focus on like what I have at hand, which is sometimes different projects or investments that I like to be in.
Yeah, so you said you work at Samsung.
Mhm.
What do you do there?
So I am an equipment engineer for our etch department. So basically, at Samsung, we make um, semiconductor microprocessor chips, and in each department is a stage of the manufacturing of the chip. So my department is etch. So basically, we etch patterns into big like wafers where the chips are made so that circuits can be implemented into them, and it can start functioning electrically. That's what I do in
Wow.
my department.
So and those chips go into like phones, computers, TVs.
Yeah, phones, computers, TVs, cars. It doesn't like everything,
Wow,
everything.
so that seems pretty intense. So how do you kind of balance your full-time job and your passion for music and artistry?
Mm, I say I'm pretty fortunate in the sense that I get to work only half the days of the year,
Ugh,
and
what?
yeah.
Well, sign me up. I'm ready to etch some patterns too.
Yeah, so I work like 3 or 4 days out of the week for 12 hours, and then the rest of the week I have off. I don't have to worry about work or anything over there. So during that time, I like to really just focus on me, and um, not focusing too much on work, but focusing on like what I'm passionate about, which is music and investing and stuff like that.
So you talk a little bit about, I've heard investment about twice and investing. What do you invest in? What are some things that you what's your portfolio looking like?
Oh, my portfolio. I don't know if I can give all that.
What do you invest in?
So usually I like to invest in real estate, and I also like to invest in cryptocurrency. So that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years. So it's been pretty fun. It's been
There's
pretty
been a lot
fun.
of talk about Bitcoin and how it's amazing, and then some people say how it's not amazing. What is your take on the current trends of Bitcoin?
In terms of Bitcoin, I kind of saw it happening. Like, I still think it's gonna keep growing.
Mm.
Um, Unfortunately for me, I didn't. I'm not invested in it. I'm more invested in like different cryptocurrencies that have the potential. So that's where I'm looking at.
So you
But
would say Bitcoin is like a buzzword.
Bitcoin has been a buzzword. My God, like you'd be so surprised how many Bitcoin gurus came after it started appreciating in value.
I can only imagine. Isn't that how it goes, you know?
Yeah, honestly,
But
it's like as soon as it went up, then all these courses from Bitcoin gurus started coming out, and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I even seen in the Instagram bio, they're like Bitcoin guru or Bitcoin investor. I'm like, I guess it's like it's equivalent to, for me, no offense, sorry to any forex traders. Whenever I see people put forex or whatever in their stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, what are you trying to tell us exactly? You know, but just changing some gear, switching gears a little bit here. What is the biggest challenge that you have right now, whether that is through your full time job or just through your music, and how do you
Mhm.
plan to overcome that?
You know, that's a great question. I think in the beginning of the year, I told myself I didn't have any like New Year's resolutions or new goals, but one thing that I wanted to be was more sure of myself.
Mm.
I think there's times where I feel like I second guess myself, and um, I feel like I have the imposter syndrome, but really I have to overcome that by saying this is really who I am, and everything that I'm doing is legit, and it just gets back to the point of me being sure of myself. So that's been the challenge that I'm overcoming right now.
Well, we are two peas in a pod there. I'm still trying to overcome mine, and it's a work in progress, let me tell you.
Honestly, honestly.
Last year was pretty crazy in terms of like the pandemic and just a change, of course, in how people live their lives. But what was your biggest success, and why do you think that that had happened?
From last year during the pandemic,
Yeah.
I would say my biggest success was making a music video.
Mm.
That that was fun because I'd always talk about doing it, but I would not do it because I don't know, one thing got in front of the other, and I just decided not to. So um, making a music video was really fun, and being able to see like your thoughts become a reality and
Mm.
just watch yourself, it's pretty it's pretty amazing. So that'd be my favorite thing from last year.
So, any more plans for more videos or
Oh,
projects?
what? Hell yeah. Yes. I mean, yes.
I mean, it is a new year, so what are some areas that you're curious about? What are you looking forward to trying in your music or even your career?
Mm. So, in terms of my career, I've been there for about a year and a half,
Mm.
and the systems and the tool set that I work with can be very complex.
Yeah.
So, these past 2 years have been a bunch of learning and just getting comfortable with what I'm dealing with. This year, I'm looking forward to being able to flex my muscle a little bit and actually give impact, you know. In terms of my music, I'm looking forward to releasing a couple songs this year that I've already completed, and just making more music videos and continuing to dive in that sector and just seeing what becomes of my creativity. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a creator in that sense, but I do know that um, like last year, because there was a lot of there was, the pandemic kind of ruined a lot of people's plans.
Mm,
They've been really trying this year to find other outlets to reach their audience, and just be more creative. Like, you're already creative, but now you have to think of like innovative and different ways, just to further your passion and your music. And so I think that's really interesting, and I think that's really awesome. Um, what advice would you have given your younger self as you look back on your life?
be sure of myself. Be sure of myself and be present in the moment. I
Yeah.
think sometimes I can get ahead of myself and think too far ahead. And because of that, it derails from me being focused on what's going on, like right now.
Yeah.
So back if I was able to go back and talk to myself, I would just tell myself, be sure of yourself and be present and let and trust yourself. So
And enjoy the moments and
man,
the
yeah,
process, honestly.
yeah,
That's one thing that I am always trying to do. I'm like, let me just embrace the process, which is, it sounds really easy and really like awesome, but when you actually have to do it, it's like, oh, it's
yeah, because we want to get to the end goal. Like we want it to be where we want to finish, but like what does the end goal look like without a process or a journey?
exactly. And I always say, like, you're not going to appreciate the end as much if you don't appreciate the journey. And that's just because I've been there, where I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to, like, for example, when I was a teacher, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to make more money and do like
Mm.
bigger things and whatever. And it gets to that stage where I'm doing different things and I'm making more money, but I'm just like, well, I can't wait to, make more money and do bigger things.
Yeah.
you know? And so it's like, will I ever truly be satisfied if I don't enjoy the now and the process? And so that's something that I'm personally working on as well.
Yeah, that's
Um,
huge.
what are some tips that you would give to someone that is trying to juggle their passions, but also their job and their career? What's some advice you would have for them?
Um, Someone was asking me that the other day, like how do I manage my time effectively?
Hmm.
And what I like to do is just like make a list of three things that I want to accomplish that day. And three things would be pertaining to my passion, what I'm doing at work, or something else. And being the person I am, I obviously accomplished more than three things. But in the case where I only accomplish three things, it's like I still have completed my goals. And if
Mm.
I'm able to do more than three things, then um, it's a bonus. So any tips I would give is just don't overwhelm yourself. Uh, know what you can handle and execute.
I love it. Short, sweet, concise, but all equally important. I think the last one stuck out to me, execute,
Hmm.
because it's a matter of, okay, like, you can do these kind of things, but the execution is the part I think a lot of people struggle with, actually going for their goals or actually going through these different things. And so execute is super important.
Hmm.
Um, we're gonna actually uh, switch, make it less serious. The segment of the show is called Taking You to School, where
Okay.
we ask you just some fun questions, get to know you a little bit better. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the box. But if you could collaborate with any artist, who would it be and why? Please don't say Drake, because I think I'll just honestly end this call.
I won't say Drake. I won't say Drake. There's this artist, he's a Nigerian artist called Alo,
Never
and
heard of him.
you should listen to Gardens by Alo. I think
Okay,
you'd love
writing that
love
down.
the song. Yeah, you would love it. If anyone I could collaborate with him, I would collaborate with him just because of his style. He's more free in his music, but if you like slow it down and listen to what he says, it is so powerful and it makes sense. But he presents and delivers his music in a way that you feel euphoric and at
Mm.
peace. So If anyone, Alo.
Is he the male version of like Janae Aiko or something?
He's pretty near, pretty close to that.
Have you
Pretty
reached
close to
out to
that.
him?
Yeah, I actually have. So whenever I was getting ready to like do like my recordings, I was like, what microphone should I buy and what system should I use? So thankfully, I just DM'd him and he responded, and
Wow.
just yeah, it was pretty nice. And he responded and he told me like what microphone he used, what he does, and I was like, yeah, I appreciate it, but I haven't asked him to do a collab yet. Yeah,
That's next on your list, though.
that is.
That is so cool. I love artists like that, where like they're not too proud or too egotistical. Just say, hey, like this is what it is, and
Mm-hmm.
this is how you do it, and it's just free game, and I love that. So, um, what is your favorite '90s jam?
Uh, this is how we do it by Montel something. What's his last name? Montel Jordan. That is my jam.
So
If
you're the
that comes,
person in the in the party that be doing the dance. I can already see you already. I can literally see you doing it.
I could be in the worst mood ever, but if that comes on, it's over. I'm dancing. It
No,
doesn't
that song
matter.
is great. No, that song is classic. It is a classic. Um,
Honestly,
who's your favorite artist
my favorite artist.
other than
Mm,
Alo?
me.
Yourself?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh snap!
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I love that confidence. Why do
Me.
you why do you like yourself as an artist? Why are you your favorite artist?
I'm my favorite artist because I am very keen on my emotions, and my music portrays that. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm mad, sometimes I'm sad.
Mm.
And with each song that I make, you feel it. And it it's like a vice, or how I'm able to get it out. And listening to myself grow throughout these years, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm my favorite artist. So it's just gaining that confidence.
I mean, if you don't love yourself, who will? You know? And you
Big
gotta be your
facts.
own biggest fan. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. What is the funniest thing that has happened to you recently?
Uh Yesterday was funny, but it was horrible at the same time.
Oh dear, what happened?
I went to the outlet mall, and we I went to this pepper store, and they sold like different kinds of seasoning, and they had like hot sauce, and they had their hottest hot sauce. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. You only live once. And the lady at the store was like, usually people just dip a toothpick in it and then eat it, and it's pretty hot for them. And I
Yeah.
was like, nah, I want a full spoon. Give me a full spoon. And then she
No!
was yeah, and I was like, okay. And she was like, okay, but you're gonna have to sign this waiver. Literally, I was signing my life away to take this hot sauce. So as soon as I took it, I was dying, dying. I started sweating out of nowhere. I needed to go to my car, and I didn't even have
I can't,
water in my car. The only reason I wanted to go to my car was because it was a safe place for me to whine.
I can't breathe. Why did you do that?
I don't know why I did that. And it was lasting for like 3 hours.
Exactly. I'm thinking about honestly, I just would cry. I would cry because
Yeah,
it's so painful.
it was horrible. It was horrible. I will never do that again.
What was the name of the pepper? Do you remember?
Uh, no, I don't even remember the name. But like they have a way they have a way that they scale the how spicy it is. I think it's called like Schofields or something like that. And this was
Oh,
like 300 million Schofields, which is like the hottest that you can
wow.
possibly get.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
I'm good with spice. Like I like spicy food, but I don't like the spice that might just take you out. So
And that's what I thought. I was like usually good with spicy foods, but this was just something else that I hadn't prepared enough for.
I'm gonna have to go get a bottle for my mom because my mom is that person that just spice is nothing to her. That
Oh
African
my
power, you
God.
know.
Oh my God. She may be able to sustain that to with
We'll
because I
see. We'll
wasn't.
see. That's really funny. Wow. Never again. So my final question for you, the hardest
Okay.
question of the entire episode.
hmm
What does schooling the system mean to you?
I think school in the system means doing the unconventional.
Hmm.
I think it means going outside of what the norm is, outside the system and what it does pertain. Not in the sense that you abandon it, but you can use it to your advantage. Like me, I went the traditional route, got a degree, am an engineer. Um, but instead of just being at a 9 to 5 all day, the system, which always says, get a good job, get a house, do all that, I'm using that traditional and system that has been instilled in me to
Mm,
do something that is outside the system.
mm.
And maybe through doing that, I'm able to teach the system or the people within the system a lesson or influence them in a way that encourages them to challenge the system. So, school in the
That
system is just, yeah, that's what I would say.
that was honestly a like phenomenal answer. And that's literally how I would define it as well. Especially when you said unconventional, can I speak? Unconventional system. so and so I think that's awesome that you can see like just taking a different route, not always sticking to the traditional ways of doing things is
hmm
important. And so thank you for recognizing that. And
Thank
I
you for doing
appreciate
what you do
it.
with this. Yeah, you're doing a great job with this system and this podcast. So, thank you for having me. I appreciate you, Pearl.
Thank you so much for being on. It was so great to get to know you a lot better. Genesis Gray for you peeps. Go check him out on all platforms,
Yes,
Spotify,
ma'am.
Apple Music. Where else? Am I missing anything else?
Deezer, SoundCloud, all music platforms you could think of.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
And we will definitely put that in the bio below so they can check you out. I can't wait to see more from you.
Thank you.
Genesis Gray, not O'Neill. And I wish you blessings and a great year in all that you do, in your career, in your music. And I'm excited, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm going to let you get out of here. We thank you again for being on our show, and we hope to see you again soon.
For sure. For sure. You take care, Pro.
You too. Take care.
All right. Bye.